asking a lot of people about this and why they think they're down. But also, like, it's interesting because I'm pretty sure opening day was the NBA's best opening day in a while. So it's interesting. Honestly, like, I feel like the average just like basketball fan doesn't understand how good NBA players are, and they think it looks like they're not trying. I promise you they're trying. They're just like so good. Like, that's why it looks like they're not trying. And obviously the physicality of the league has changed a lot, and I wasn't around when it was like much more physical, and maybe people want more like beef and physicality, and people think it's gotten soft. But I think that's also because the skill has just changed, and like, that's what's great about basketball. Like, it's always evolving. Like, it's going to be different than when MJ played. It's going to be different in 10 years than it is.
The NBA's ratings are plummeting, and everyone seems to have a theory. Some blame the rise of three-point shooting. Others point to the league's timing alongside football, while many criticize the players themselves. But Caitlin Clark, one of basketball's most electrifying stars, thinks there's more to the story. During a recent podcast appearance, the WNBA standout shared her perspective on the NBA's struggles, and her take just might flip the entire conversation on its head. What's really going on with the league? According to Clark, the answer isn't as simple as you might think. Let's dive into her take on what's really happening to the NBA. NBA ratings are tanking. What's really going on? Imagine the buzz when the NBA just scored a jaw-dropping $76 billion media rights deal, locking in broadcasters like Disney, NBC Universal, and Amazon for the foreseeable future. That sounds like a victory parade, right? But here's the twist. Viewership surprisingly went on a free fall following that. According to ESPN, ratings have plunged by 28% through November, and TNT isn't doing much better either. The league might be celebrating its billion-dollar windfall, but the numbers are painting a sad picture. What's even more shocking is that some people are silently saying that the NBA might have known this decline was coming. Maybe that's why they pushed so hard to lock in those deals while the going was good. But given how tone-deaf the league has been about its problems, it seems more likely they're just as shocked as the rest of us. A billion-dollar gamble that's not adding up. If this was a bank heist, the NBA would be walking out with bags of cash while alarms blare in the background. Convincing media giants to triple their investment, despite a crumbling viewership base, is nothing short of a masterstroke. NBC Universal, for instance, committed $2.5 billion annually for their broadcast package. But already, rumors are surfacing that the network might have overpaid, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. Now, contrast this with what's happening in other sports. The NFL, crushing it. They're drawing their highest average viewership since 2015, clocking in at a jaw-dropping 17.3 million viewers per game. Major League Baseball? The World Series pulled its best numbers since 2017. Even the WNBA Finals had record-breaking viewership on ESPN this past fall. Meanwhile, the NBA seems to be playing musical chairs while the ship sinks. Fans aren't holding back either. If you dive into forums or scroll through social media, fans are blunt about why they're tuning out. Take the game's evolution, for instance. The three-point revolution has killed the game, a Reddit user vented, aligning with NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal's frustration over today's predictable three-heavy style. As Shaq puts it, everybody's running the same plays. Every team is not a three-point shooter. Then there's the notorious load management problem. Organizations and the players don't care about the regular season. Why should fans? Another commenter quipped, referencing the growing trend of star players sitting out games to rest. For fans who've shelled out hard-earned cash to see their favorite players in person, this feels like a slap in the face. And accessibility? Don't even get fans started. Unlike the NFL, where watching a game is as easy as turning on the TV, the NBA has layered its viewing experience with blackout restrictions and a labyrinth of streaming hurdles. "I can't even watch my local team without using illegal streams," is a complaint you'll hear over and over again. The bigger picture, NBA's deep-rooted problems. These surface-level gripes point to deeper structural challenges within the league. Let's break it down. Identity crisis. The NBA has successfully brought in incredible international talent, but there's a catch. Many of these global stars haven't captured the hearts of American viewers in the same way as homegrown legends like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James. Sports writer Ethan Strauss summed it up perfectly. Non-American stars haven't connected with American viewers as much as homegrown talent. A regular season that feels pointless. When 20 out of 30 teams make the playoffs or the play-in tournament, what's the incentive to watch the regular season? The games lack urgency, and fans know it. Too much basketball. Bill Simmons didn't mince words about this. There's too much of it, and it's too available. Unlike the NFL, where each of its 17 games feels like an event, the NBA's 82-game marathon can feel like background noise. Now that we know the problem, or at least have something we can all look at as the cause of this issue, what attempts is the league making to fix the mess? What efforts are they putting in to bring this issue to an end? Let's see. Well, to its credit, the NBA is trying to innovate. The introduction of the in-season tournament was meant to inject some excitement into the early part of the season. But so far, the results are lukewarm at best. Viewership for the tournament is already down 10% compared to last year. Commissioner Adam Silver has also defended the league's style of play, particularly the rise of three-point shooting. But when even traditionally supportive media outlets are raising red flags about declining popularity, it's clear the league's challenges go beyond aesthetics. Fans are not buying what the league is selling. And let's be real, when your audience is calling your product unwatchable garbage, it's time to rethink your strategy. The numbers are there, the data doesn't lie, and it's not pretty. 4 of the 5 lowest-rated NBA finals in the last 3 decades have taken place in the past 4 years. Overall viewership has plummeted by roughly 48% since 2012. These aren't minor dips, they're alarming trends that point to a league struggling to maintain relevance. Meanwhile, other sports are thriving. The NFL continues to dominate the airwaves, college football is surging, and even niche markets like women's basketball are seeing growth. The NBA, on the other hand, is standing still, or worse, moving backward. Caitlin Clark's take on why NBA ratings are dropping. While some blame the league's obsession with three-point shooting and others point to media negativity, the rising tide of injuries, and unpredictable player availability, Caitlin Clark, the breakout star in the WNBA and a household name in basketball, has her own theory. Speaking on the New Heights podcast, the Indiana Fever guard admitted she's been digging into this mystery herself. "I've been asking a lot of people about this and why they think ratings are down," she said. And her conclusion? It's not what you might expect. Clark believes the issue might come down to how fans perceive today's NBA players. "Honestly, I feel like the average basketball fan doesn't understand how good NBA players are, and they think it looks like they're not trying," she said. "I promise you they're trying. They're just like so good. That's why it looks like they're not trying." It's an intriguing perspective. Many fans complain that today's players aren't as physical or don't play as hard as they used to, but Clark argues that such criticism overlooks just how skilled today's athletes are. The modern NBA features teams loaded with shooters, spreading the floor and forcing defenders into impossible situations. With defenses stretched thin, it can seem like players aren't giving their all. But in reality, offensive talent has evolved to a near impossible standard. Clark also touched on the timing issue, noting that the NBA season competes directly with America's favorite sport during its early months. "It's hard for me to put my finger on why viewership has gone down. It's also competing against football right now, so you have to take that into consideration. Football is America's favorite thing," she said. And she's not wrong. The NFL and college football dominate the fall sports landscape, making it tough for basketball to carve out space in the public eye. By the time the NBA season starts heating up, many casual fans have already tuned out. As a player who's broken numerous three-point shooting records, Clark also isn't worried about the league's reliance on the long ball. In fact, she embraces it. "I love three-point shooting," she said, even suggesting the NBA could spice things up with a 4-point line. Her take offers a refreshing counterpoint to critics who believe the three-pointer has hurt the game. For Clark, the evolution of basketball is a natural part of its charm. "Obviously, the physicality of the league has changed a lot," she admitted. "But the skill has just changed. That's what's great about basketball. It's always evolving." She also acknowledges that the NBA is different now, but that's part of its beauty. "It's going to be different than when MJ played, and it's going to be different in 10 years." Current Lakers head coach, J.J. Redick. "This game should be celebrated. The league is more talented and skilled than it was 18 years ago when I was drafted. That's a fact. There are more players that are excellent. There are more teams that are excellent, Reddick said on the same issue. In their eyes, fans should embrace this evolution rather than resist it. After all, basketball's ability to adapt and grow is what keeps it exciting, even if it takes time for fans to catch up. So, where does the NBA go from here? The paradox here is that the NBA isn't in immediate danger of financial collapse. That massive $76 billion media rights deal guarantees stability for the next several years. But if viewership keeps spiraling downward, the league could find itself in a messier position when it's time to renegotiate those contracts. The path forward is clear, but it's not easy. The NBA needs to make regular season games matter again. Address the accessibility nightmare that's driving fans away. Rebuild its connection with audiences, particularly in the US. And let's not overlook the possibility of sports betting as a lifeline. Could the rise of in-game wagering rekindle interest in the regular season? It's a gamble, but with billions on the line, the NBA might be willing to roll the dice. The NBA has its work cut out. For now, the league is cashing in on its lucrative media deals and hoping the storm passes. But with fans increasingly disillusioned, the clock is ticking. Will the NBA find its footing again? Or is this the start of a long decline? Only time will tell.